When you're modeling game assets, you usually start by modeling a very detailed high poly version of the object, but the problem is that then you end up with something like 271,000 edges. So we gotta do something to cut that shit down a little bit, but we don't want to get rid of all of our details. And that's where normal maps come in. If you don't know what a normal map is, it's a special type of texture which, when applied to an object, makes it look like there are details on that object which are not actually there. So that way we can have a very low poly object which looks like it has many details on it. So I'm gonna start by showing you how this works on a very simple example, and then I'm gonna show you how I would do this on this Uzi which we made in the video the other day. But first, let's start with something simple like this cube right here. Now this cube is a pretty simple object, but as you can see, we got 50,000 edges. We got to get rid of some of them, because if you start scattering this around the scene in a game or something, before you know it, you end up with 6 million vertices. Shit gets laggy, so that's obviously not going to work, and that's why we got to use our normal maps. So to create a normal map, we first have to start by creating a low poly version of this object right here. Now since this is just a cube, that's going to be very easy. We can just go Shift A, add a default cube, and as you can see, that cube is exactly the same size as this high poly cube which we have in the middle. And now we just have to bake the details from the high poly object to a normal map which will be applied to the low poly cube. So you're going to go over to your shading tab, and in your shading tab you select the low poly cube. You're going to create a new material right there, and then with Shift A you're going to add an image texture node, and we're going to use this image texture node to create an image onto which we're going to bake these details. So you're going to click on new right here, and you can name this whatever, and you want to be mindful of the resolution on this image because you want to make it appropriate. If it's going to be an object which you're going to be looking at from very close up, you want to have a lot of detail, you want to make the resolution higher. But if it's just going to be something in the background which you're hardly going to see, then you want to keep the resolution lower. So let's just say we decided we want to go with 1024 pixels. When you're baking these normal maps, you always want to double that, and then later on we're going to reduce it back to the size that we want, which is going to be 1024, and I'm going to show you why. So let's double the resolution here. You can select both of these and multiply them by 2, leave everything else as it is, generate a new image, and you have to set the color space to non-color, otherwise it's not going to work properly. Now before we continue, let me show you one more thing that I like to do when baking normal maps. If you zoom in on this object right here, let me just add some color here so you can see it a little bit better. Maybe I'll make it metallic as well and reduce the roughness. If you look at these edges around these circles, you can see that they're extremely sharp, and that's not realistic. You want to give them some bevels so they can look a little bit nicer. Now the problem is that if we start adding bevels here, it becomes a real pain in the ass. It's going to take us 10 days to finish this. So we want to make it look like there are bevels here, but we don't want to actually create the bevels, and doing that is very easy. You're just going to make sure you're in cycles. You're going to go to rendered view, maybe just add some extra light so you can see what you're doing a little bit better. And then in the material on this high poly object, you're going to go Shift A and add a bevel node, and that bevel node, when plugged into the normal input, is going to make it look like there are bevels on this object. So we want to reduce the radius a little bit, turn up the samples, and as you can see now, the edges look much nicer and much more realistic. And that is also something that we're going to bake into our normal map. So check this out. We're going to take this low poly object, place it back on top of the high poly object, and if you want to bake something, you go to your render tab, you go down to the bake section, you're going to open that up, change the bake type to normal because, well, you want to bake a normal map, and you're going to check this thing down here called selected to active. That means you're going to be baking from the selected object, which is going to be the high poly object, onto the active object, which is going to be the low poly object. If you don't know how this works, it's a very basic mechanism in Blender. When you select multiple objects, the last object you selected is going to be yellow, and the objects which you selected previously are going to be orange. So the orange ones are called selected because they're already selected, and the yellow one is called the active object. That's the one you just selected, and you can do a bunch of things with this. It allows you to use certain features so you can target the active object, and this mechanism is what we're going to have to use to bake the normal map. Normally you also have to UV unwrap the low poly object, but in this case it's a default cube. It already comes unwrapped, and if you want to learn more about how UV unwrapping works, I got an old tutorial somewhere on my channel. You can go check that out. Anyway, we're going to select the high poly object, then shift select the low poly object. Make sure you select the image texture node which we created on the low poly object, and you can also preview that image down here in your image editor. Right now it's just black because we didn't bake nothing yet, but now you are ready to bake. Now one more thing that people always like to talk about when it comes to baking are the samples, and a lot of people say you want to set the samples to just 1 because it doesn't affect the quality of the normal map, but it does increase the time it takes to bake it. In my experience, if you bake a normal map with just 1 sample, it looks like shit, so I just keep the samples on something like 128. I don't mind waiting a few extra seconds. So now we're ready to bake. We're going to hit the bake button down here, and when our bake is finished, you're going going to see it down here in the image editor. Now, a lot of times you're going to see something like this. You got a purple background, but you got a bunch of these yellow areas. That means we fucked up. So either it's because our normals are inverted, or in this case, it's because we have some of the details from the high poly object sticking out through the surface of the low poly object. And of course, the low poly object expects to receive the normal data from the inside, and these details are above the surface, so that's why it's coming out all wrong. So we want to bake this as if all the details are on the inside of the low poly object, but we don't want to increase the size of the low poly object because that's going to cause a bunch of distortions. Instead, what we do is we go down here to the bake settings. You're going to open up select it to active, and you're going to increase the extrusion value here so that Blender is going to take it as if this low poly surface is above the high poly surface. So you can set this to something like, I don't know, 0.3, 0.5, whatever, it doesn't really matter in this case. And then we're going to bake one more time. So select high poly, select low poly, select the image texture node, and hit bake one more time. And now we got our normal map over here. Now it's looking all pretty. So if we take this low poly object to the side, we can now use this image over here, and we can display that on the surface of the object as a normal map. So all you got to do is go Shift A over here in the node editor. You're going to search for and add a normal map node. Place that right here. You plug color into color. You plug normal into normal. And there you go. Now you got your details on this object. You can give that a little bit of color so you can see them a little bit better. And if you look at this from a distance, you're going to see that they look exactly the same, except this one down here has 50,000 edges and this one here has only 12. Now, as I mentioned to you before, when you're making a normal map, you want to double the resolution, and then later on you're going to scale it back down. And the reason for that is that sometimes you're going to have these very sharp edges, and when you're baking, there's no anti-aliasing in Blender or nothing like that, so we have to do that manually. So you're going to have to save this image to your computer and then open it up with some image editing program. You can use any program on earth. I'm using PaintNet, and you're just going to have to take that image and reduce its size back to the original size or the final size that we want to have for this normal map. So in this case, we want to reduce that to 1024, and as you can see, that's going to make your edges look at least a little bit smoother. In this example, there are still some areas which are a little bit shitty, so if you want to capture details that are as tiny as these, you want to use an even higher resolution, but you get the idea. Now let's go back to Blender. Let's talk about the Uzi. So if you're dealing with an object like this gun right here, you normally want to make sure that everything is part of the same object. So you would select all the objects and you would join them all into one with Control J, and then of course you have to UV unwrap everything manually. Now today, just to keep things more simple for the sake of the video, I'm only going to group 3 items together, and those are going to be these 3 parts. That's the handguard, this middle section, and the hand grip, because those are the parts where I have a bunch of polygons which I can get rid of with a normal map. The rest of the stuff is not so problematic, so I'm just trying to keep it simple today. So the first step is going to be creating the low poly versions of these objects. So for the first part, the hand grip, all we're going to have to do is select this surface underneath where we don't have the ridges. We're going to duplicate that. We're going to lift it up by 2 units. Maybe I'm going to dissolve some of these vertices or edges over here because I'm not going to need those, but that's going to be good enough for now. Now for this object down here, I'm going to have to do a little bit of modeling. So let me just take this whole thing with all the little details attached to it, and let's lift it up so we can see it a little bit better. I'm just going to take the edges from the outline of this object. So that's going to be all the edges that go all the way around here on both sides. I come back around down in the back over here so I can connect everything. And I'm also going to take the edges from the inside on this part, and all I need to do is duplicate those, separate them by selection, and now I can fill this with a couple of n-gons just to keep things simple. So I can make a face here, another face over here on the other side, and then at the top I'm going to bridge edge loops, same thing on the other side, and there we go. Now we have a low poly version. Well, of course we also have to fill in the outer area over here on both sides, and then these edges on the underside, but now we have a simple low poly object which can easily handle all the details from this piece right here. Let's also take care of the hand grip. As you can see, we got a bunch of ridges down here as well. It's a pretty high poly object. Now luckily I already have a lower poly version of this shape where I only applied 1 level of subdivision surface. On this one I applied 2, but this is because I made a backup before when I was modeling this, so now I can just bring that in and use that as an object for baking. Otherwise, I guess you could just select this object, separate it by selection, and roll with this. Even though it has a bunch of vertices, it's still going to be a lot less if we just bake these ridges onto that object. But anyway, now we're going to take all our low poly versions and we're going to join them into the same object, and this is where we have to start UV unwrapping them. So you're going to add a new material in the shading tab. In that new material, you're going to go Shift A, you're going to add an image texture node. And in that image texture node, we want to create a new image. Let's do 2048 by 2048. And we're going to set this to UV grid because this is going to help us do our UV unwrapping. So we plug color into base color. Now in the textured view, you're going to see that we're going to be able to see the texture on the surface. And that's going to help us unwrap this properly. So in this case, I'm going to mark a couple of seams over here. I'm going to go all the way around the object, all the way around these edges over here. And these edges I'm going to mark as seams. So now if I unwrap this, you're going to see that now the texture is pretty good on the outside. It's still a little shitty on the inside, so we still have to do something about that. By the way, notice how I have a hole on the inside here. That's because I deleted all the faces on the inside, which I don't need. Otherwise, they're just going to occupy space on my UV map, and as a result, my texture is going to be shittier. So let's also mark a seam over here, and the same on the other side like this. So now if we unwrap this object one more time, you unwrap conformal. Now, as you can see, the UV map is pretty damn perfect. Let's move on to the next part. The next part is going to be the handguard. The handguard's already looking pretty good, so it looks like we don't even have to do much here. But we have to do a little bit because it's a little bit distorted in the front. So let's mark this as a seam. This surface down here at the bottom, I'm also going to mark as a seam. And then I'm going to need an edge down the middle so I can separate these into two. And I also want to separate these holes over here on both sides. So now let's see what happens when we unwrap this. It's not working properly. We still got to mark a couple of seams over here at the top on these edges. So I'm going to select everything in the back at the top over here on both sides. And then once we mark that, hopefully that's going to work a little bit better. So let's see what happens. And there you go. That is damn near perfect. So that's going to work pretty well. Finally, let's move down to the hand grip. So the hand grip is a pretty simple shape. I'm just going to select an edge that goes all the way around here. I'm going to mark that as a seam. And I think I can even delete a bunch of the faces on the inside because, again, you're not really going to be able to see those. So maybe I'll select these two edge loops. I'm going to mark them as seams. That just allows me to select the faces on the inside in face select mode. And then I can just delete all those, and that way they're not going to occupy any space. So now if we select this entire object, turns out we don't even really need any seams, so we can just go U, unwrap, and as you can see, the projection is pretty good there. So now we're going to bring these objects back down, or maybe we should bring the high poly objects up. We want to place them inside each other. So we're going to place this inside the middle area. We're going to place the hand guard inside the low poly hand guard, and we're going to place the high poly hand grip into the low poly hand grip. And of course, the high poly objects should also all be part of the same object, so we're going to join them into one with Ctrl J. The reason we're joining them into the same object is because we want them all to be baked into the same texture map. That's going to be more manageable. You don't want to have a model which has 16 different normal maps. You want to just have one big normal map, and all you have to do is one material for the entire asset. You plug that shit into normal and you're good to go. And of course, the high poly objects should have the bevel node on them, so let's give them a little bit of color so we can see this better. We're going to go Object Shade Auto Smooth, and then Shift A, give me a bevel node, which we're going to plug in here. Turn up the sample, set the radius to something low like this. Let's just check to see if that works properly in rendered view. As you can see, everything is looking pretty nice, so now I think we're ready to bake. So this is what we're going to do. Select the low poly objects where we currently just got the UV grid. We're going to get rid of that. Instead, we're going to go Shift A, give me an image texture. New image, let's set the resolution to something crazy because, well, we're going to have a bunch of different objects on the same texture, and we got some pretty fine details. So let's say I want this texture to be 4096 by 4096. I'm going to double that, and then later I'm going to shrink it down. That way we're going to have some pretty nice interpolation. It's going to look pretty sweet. And of course, the generated type is going to be blank. We're going to name this normal map Uzi and click on new image. Of course, the color space has to be non-color. And then we just place the low poly objects on top of the high poly objects. Make sure they're exactly in the same place. We go over here to our bake settings. We got to be in cycles. We're going to scroll down, set the extrusion. Let's do 0.03 to begin with. The active is checked. Select this image over here. Load the image here so we can see it. And let's see what happens. We're going to hit bake and wait a couple of seconds. And we already fucked up because I forgot to UV unwrap all the low poly objects together. As you can see, they're covering each other because I unwrapped them separately. In fact, I accidentally cleared all my seams before baking, so here I am sitting like an idiot waiting for this to bake, and it just would never bake. And only when I cancel it gave me this fucking abomination. So anyway, I fix up all my seams. I UV unwrap one more time. So we select high poly, we select low poly, we select the normal map, we bake one more time. And there we go. That took long enough, but now the normal map's baked. We use a normal map node to plug the normal map into the material. It's all the same material on all three of these low poly objects. And of course, we want a darker color. Let's also make it a little bit more metallic so you can see it. And look how beautiful that is. We can see all the details over here on the hand grip. Let me just take a couple of seconds to show this to you. As you can see, it is low poly and all the details are looking cute. Over here on the central part, everything is looking nice and clean. It looks almost exactly the same as it did before, and the hand grip's looking pretty good too. Now there is a point where we have a couple of issues, and that's on the inside of these holes, and that probably has to do with the fact that we used an extrusion number which was a bit too high for these surfaces. So we could try to bake these one more time, and the way to do that would be the following. We're going to select all those little holes. We want to select the faces inside them. We're going to separate them by selection. them, and then bring those parts back down to the high poly object. Select the high poly object, select the little holes, select the same normal map because we're just going to update that normal map. Then make sure you uncheck clear image, because otherwise next time you bake something it's going to clear this image and start from the beginning, which is going to fuck everything up. And we're going to reduce the extrusion down to, let's say, 0.01. Hopefully that's going to work. So let's go for it one more time. We're going to hit bake, and now as you can see, only these parts of the normal map have been updated. So we can select them, we can bring them back up, we can join them back into the same object, merge our vertices by distance, and as you can see clearly that looks much better than before. It's still a little bit shitty. If you really need this to look a million times cleaner, then you would bake with an even higher resolution, or maybe you would make these little surfaces cover a larger area in the UV map. So for example, we can take these, and as you can see we have lots of empty space over here, so we can probably scale them up by 2x or maybe even more. We select everything to make sure they don't clip with anything else, and then we just move these islands to an available corner like this one down here, and we separate them again. We bring them back to the high poly object and we can bake one more time. And once we do that, as you can see, the edges look a little bit nicer here. The next step is going to be to save this image to our computer, and then I'll open it up with PaintNet one more time. I'll reduce the resolution down to 4K. I already showed you how that's done, so you already know how that works. But now, assuming these are all the normal maps we want for this object, we can just bring this back down, and the normal map for our Uzi is ready to go. So there's that. Currently these three items only have a bit less than 3,000 edges, and before we did the baking they had a total of 33,000 edges, so that is a massive difference. And now all of a sudden this entire weapon has only 12,726 edges. It can still be reduced even further, but I think there's no need for that. This is a very manageable edge count. Let me know what you guys think down below. I know there's a lot of steps to this process, so it might have been a little bit confusing, especially if it's your first time doing something like this. I can make more videos about this subject. I can make more guns. Maybe I'll do a whole playlist about just modeling one gun so I can explain it a little bit more clearly. But like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out the Blender Masterclass course if you want to learn more about Blender. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one.